Bottom one? Yeah, that's better. I didn't do a webcasting introduction, do I, to start with?
There's nobody
Not going to be
here.
webcast, is it?
No, that's true.
Yeah.
There was people waiting outside when I came in.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know which location.
That's to Adrian, I think.
Adrian, that's for you, the minutes.
Oh, thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our planning licensing subcommittee. The apologies for absence.
Yes, Chairman, we have apologies from councillors Lyon and Stocker.
Okay, are there any declarations of interest? No.
No.
Procedure of the conduct of business is page 5 to 12. For the first item, regarding the Hackney carriage driver's licence, we need to exclude the public and press. If you agree to that?
Agreed.
Okay.
So I'll go to pause.
Yes, please, Steve. Thank you.
I'll go to pause.
Right. Good morning. Welcome to our subcommittee. Before we start the meeting, I must announce that the webcasting. Please note that this meeting may be filmed for live or subsequent broadcast via the council internet site. At the start of the meeting, we will confirm all that part of the meeting is being filmed. This will be filmed. The previous one we had wasn't. You should be aware that the Council Data Control and the Data Protection Act collected during the webcast will be retained in accordance with the Council's published policy. Therefore, by participating in this meeting, you are consenting to be filmed and to the possibility use of these images and sound recordings for webcasting or training purposes. So you understand this will be webcast and recorded. Okay. So the procedure of the conduct of business, a few introductions first. I'm Councillor Morgan, who is chairman of the panel this morning. On my right is Councillor Sartin, and on her right is Councillor John Whitehouse. On my left is Rosalind Ferrari, who is the legal department, and on her left is Adrian Henry, who is Democratic Service, who will take in notes. And Steve at the end there is control of the webcast. When you do speak, if you could turn on your microphones and then turn them off when you're finished. You've already met Debbie Houghton, our licensing officer, and David King, who is our licensing manager. Now, if you could introduce yourselves, please. Introduce yourselves. Who are you? Or
I'm Dilek Alagos. I did the premises license application on behalf of my client, Gulcan Pelut.
yes. Right.
Gülcan Pelut.
Sorry.
Gülcan Pelut.
No, have to turn one off.
We don't have one on, one on.
Only one at a time.
Gülcan Pelut, the license applicator.
Okay, thank you. The procedure of the meeting is that the lead officer, Debbie Houghton, will outline the application. Then you will ask you to present the application to us. We will ask you questions on the application. The objectors, well, they're not here. We've got one. There were two objections, and only one's been withdrawn. We only got one objection, they're not here, so they won't be asking any questions. At the end of the discussions, we will ask the objectors, well, they're not here, so you will make your final statement before we retire and decide on the application. It's fairly straightforward as we go along. Okay, so I'll ask Debbie Houghton to introduce the application, please.
I've just got to hand you a copy, Chair, of the email I received this morning from one of the objectors, but they would like to withdraw their representation
Okay.
from Stace.
Oh, yes, yes. This is from Stace, who are above your premises and to the side. They've withdrawn their objections. So that was that. So, yes, if you'd like to outline the application, please.
Thank you, Chair. The reason we're here today is to consider an application for a new premises licence under the Licensing Act of 2003. An application has been made by Gorcom Pellet for a new premises licence at 275 High Street, Epping, Essex, CM 164DA. The application is for the following licensing activities: the provision of late night refreshment, Sunday to Thursday, 1100 hours to 2300 hours till 23:30, Friday to Saturday, 2300 hours to midnight 30. The sale by retail of alcohol is Sunday to Thursday, 11:30 in the morning to 2300 hours, Friday and Saturday, 11:30 in the morning to midnight, and the alcohol is for consumption with food only. The application was received and valid on the 20th of January 2023. The operating schedule sets out conditions which will be attached to the licence if this application is granted. When considering the application for a licence, the licensing authority must have regard to steps that are appropriate to promote the licensing objectives, and these are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. It must also have regard to the statement of licensing policy and any guidance issued by the Secretary of State. The responsible authorities have all received a copy of the application. It was also advertised at the premises and in a local newspaper. A copy of the blue notice and the newspaper advert is attached to this report. All residences and businesses within a 150-metre radius of the premises were individually consulted. The authority has received 2 representations of objection, one from a local business and one from a local resident, which you've seen the emails, they're attached to the report. One of those objections has been withdrawn this morning. A response from Essex Police with recommendations has been agreed by the applicant, and these conditions are attached to this report and listed below, including a staff member will be on duty during the hours of business who can download images. A refusal register is to remain at the premises for inspection, and a register to include staff training dates, what training topics were provided, and refresher date required. The objections relate to public safety, prevention of public nuisance, and crime and disorder. Comments from our planning department are included below. The applicant has agreed to the reduction of hours as per the restricted planning condition, and that is there is restricting hours of the use between 8 o'clock in the morning and 2200 hours Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning to 2300 hours on a Saturday, and 8 o'clock in the morning to 2100 hours on a Sunday and bank holidays. In determining this application, the subcommittee may take any of the following steps as it considers necessary for the promotion of the licence objectives, and that is to grant the licence as applied for, or subject to the conditions mentioned in the operating schedule, modified as the subcommittee considers necessary for the promotion of the licence objectives and the mandatory conditions specified in the Licensing Act of 2003. Or to exclude from the scope of the licence any licensable activities to which the application relates to, or refuse to specify a person as the premises supervisor, or to reject the application. If there's anything further I can help you with, Chair, that's the report.
Right, thank you very much. Now, if you'd like to put your case to us on behalf of your client, please, just press the button.
Yeah, there were 2 representations and one of them is withdrawn, and both representations were mentioned about the hours is quite long. When I did this application, I thought hours, are very general and normal hours for a restaurant, but I had no idea about planning condition. And after I found out with Debbie, we also agreed the hours, to be matched with planning condition. So I think I also emailed to Stace regarding this planning condition, and they withdrawn the representation because of this reason. And for the other person, Harry Grimleys, I talked to Charles Biss about their representation, and as you can see, they are just saying here the operating hours should be restricted to minimize disturbance to local residents, and it's already restricted. I mean 10 o'clock, and with the previous hours, what was it, from from Sunday, it's closing 9 o'clock, and Saturday only 11 p.m. Yeah, is it correct? I think from Tuesday to Friday, it's 10 o'clock closing time. So we accepted the previous operational hours, and I think everything should be fine with this application, with the previous hours. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And you don't want to say any more, your agent is...
Well, my opinion is we're sticking to the old hours. So we've got no problem with the old hours. The reason we wanted to change it, because we were doing the brand new application. So in the future, if we change the type of the restaurant into like a brunch cafe, that's why we wanted to extend the hours. You know, the new type thing, new generation thing these days, brunch cafes everywhere, and it's more popular. In the future, if we change the style of the restaurant, that's why we wanted to change. But if it's going to affect the community around, or if the people are not going to be happy, so we're happy to keep the old hours. We've got no problem about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Questions? Councillor John Whitehouse.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Pellet, you're going to be the designated premises supervisor. Is that right? Yeah. Can you just say a bit about what training, what experience you've got of doing that, and what you plan to do to ensure that the staff understand their responsibilities with regard to alcohol?
Sure, I've been in restaurant industry more than 25 years, and basically I've grown up in a restaurant, and I've got my personal license back in 90s when I had the off licenses. And then obviously we changed to the restaurant industry. I know the basic training to the staff, how to train them, how to tell what needs to be done, the bookkeeping, displaying the relevant posters about informations. I've got the knowledge. I've been in this industry long time. So this is not my first business. Also, I've got another branch, which is in Hornchurch High Street. We've got one more other, is in Abbey, Waltham Abbey. So this is the third one. This is the only one I'm having problem. Hopefully I will sort it out today. Thank you.
Councillor Sartin.
Thank you. Now, I was going to ask about the personal licence holder, but you yourself are the... Yeah. Just looking at the plan that we've been given of the premises, it appears to be a fairly long, narrow unit. I'm assuming that for a fire exit there is continuous access to the rear through all of those various bits that are shown. I'm looking at one bit where it looks as if it's blocked, but is that a sliding door? Perhaps you haven't got the... other side. To the top, you've got the exit out at the back and a door, and then there's something that looks as if it's either a block or it's a sliding door. I just wondered if you could clarify. Oh, sorry.
In this building, there is a back entrance and also staircase.
When you pass the first door, which is leading to the car park, when you walk in from that door, you come to the stairs straight away. It's about, I could say 8, 9 stairs, and then you turn right. That's our entrance, backdoor entrance. The reason we keep it open, because there's a lot of deliveries needs to be done during the day. Obviously, after a certain hour, the doors needs to be closed. At the moment, when you walk through, it goes to the upstairs, which is stays, their exit area to the car park. Our fire exit is the front door. It's not the back door, because the front door opens wider, so people can get out of the building easily from the front door. Back door is not all right for the fire exit. Also, landlord is changing this area. What he's going to do, he's going to separate, he's going to have one more door between the stairs. So stays, which is upstairs exit, our exit is going to be divided with a door. So this plan is kind of temporary, because the landlord is changing this at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just following up on that, presumably a fire inspection has agreed that that is sufficient. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Have our officers any questions? Sorry.
The alcohol, are you going to ask them whether they're happy to change the alcohol hours?
Oh, well, I think I've agreed. You agreed to change the alcohol hours to the same as the planning.
Yes.
Yes. John?
Just wanted to clarify, and the licensable area shown in the plan is indoors only. So are you serving alcohol inside the building only?
Yes, correct. Customer needs to buy food, and then we can offer alcohol. Without food, we don't offer any alcohol. Thank you.
And they can't take alcohol out?
No, they can't.
No, not at all. Right. Any other questions? No. Okay. Any questions from our officers? No? No questions from us? I think you've covered everything. So we will retire and consider the application, and we'll be back as soon as possible.
Or they can leave and we can stay here.
If you want to go outside for a quarter of an hour or so, or whatever. Right. Licensing Subcommittee, 7th of March, a decision sheet for an application for a premises licence under the Licensing Act 2003. Premises address, Barbarossa, 275 High Street, Epping. We consider that the application satisfies the necessary requirements in order to be considered. It is on the prescribed form. It has been advertised and relevant notifications given. We're grateful for the parties for their presentation to us on this morning. We've taken these and the written material submitted to us into account. We have considered what is appropriate to promote the 4 licensing objectives and the relevant parts of council licensing policy and the Home Office guidance. During our deliberations, no issues of law or policy arose, and so the committee was not required to call on our advisory officers for advice. The committee noted all the submissions and the representations, both oral and written, made in relation to the application. The committee is also aware that any conditions imposed must be appropriate, be capable of being enforceable, and must not undermine the licensing objectives, and that each case must be determined on its own merits. The decision of the subcommittee is that this application for the premises licence in respect of Barbarossa, 275 High Street, Epping, be granted, subject to the opening hours on Monday to Friday between 8 AM and 2200 hours, Saturday between 8 and 2300 hours, and Sunday and bank holidays 8 to 2100 hours. As a result of the change in opening hours from those originally applied for, there is no requirement for a late night refreshments. subject to the conditions consistent with the operation schedule as very modified by the above, and also those conditions agreed with Essex Police, set out in the item 8 of the agenda and of page 20 of the agenda, and so far as they are add or supersede the applicant's conditions, which are considered reasonable, proportionate and in the public interest to promote the licensing objectives and will undermine the same. We also attach the mandatory conditions in sections 1921 of the Licensing Act 2003. The applicants and the person who made these representations are reminded that the right of appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days of the date of his written notification of this decision and the review of mechanism under the Licensing Act 2003, because any matters arising in the future at the premises in connection with any of the 4 licensing objectives, namely prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, and the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. So your application is granted. And good luck for the future.
Thank you so much. Relieved.
Okay, if there's no other business, I'll declare the meeting closed.
Finished? Yeah, I'm so used to this.